Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me watching this video. I think I'm getting spring fever. I'm ready for spring, I'm ready for warmer weather. So today I'm choosing paper collection, which I think the papers that I'm choosing for this project, they are really spring-like, summer-like fun papers. So for this project, we will use Notepad. This is actually set of 3. It's a one notepad, but with 3 sections. I bought this one from Dollar Tree. I will be using sticky notes, which I also purchased from Dollar Tree. I will use calculator, also from Dollar Tree. And I will use this paper collection. This paper collection, for me, it's absolutely amazing. You know, when I placed order for this paper collection, I did not realize that there is total of 240 pieces of paper on the inside. I bought this one from Joann Fabrics, and they actually had special, and I don't remember if it was 40 or 50% off. But when the box came in, I was so surprised that, you know, the shipping carton was so heavy, and I didn't understand why. Well, when I opened that, I was very, very pleasantly surprised what I actually got. So it's called My Special Papers. There is total of 240 of them in this pack, and I will not show you all of them, but to give you idea what's inside, I picked few. For example, there is 2 sheets of the same design. So basically there is 240 sheets, so there is total of 120 designs and 2 pieces of paper per design. So just to show you variety of the papers that are actually in this collection, I chose to show you this one, where you can see it's kind of neutral, I don't know, a little bit antique-ish, vintage, which I really like. And they have birds, they have flowers. This is another set of 2 sheets. Again, spring, summer, beautiful, beautiful collection. I mean, there is so many beautiful papers in here. I am having difficult time choosing which one I do want to use for my project. For this one, I think I'm gonna use this. It's very busy, but yet I think the colors in here are a little bit more neutral. So I think many of you would like this paper. This is how thick this box is, and it is heavy. I don't know if you can see it, but on the back there is a product code, and I guess it is by Crafter's Companion. Product code CC-B as a boy, O X M as Mary, S P as a Peter, 12. Just if you are interested in this particular collection. So for this project, we will also need chipboard, and we will need 2 pieces, 8.5 by 1. We will need one piece 8.5 by 2. We will need two pieces 8.5 by 6. And we will need cardstock. I will use black cardstock for this project. This cardstock is 12 by 12. And we will have to glue those two pieces together. Let's make sure this is all stuck. So now the way we will position the chipboard, it will be the 8.5 by 6. Then we're gonna have 1 inch piece. Then we will need another inch and a half, 8.5 by 6, 1 inch piece, and 8.5 by 2. And this is how we will position or arrange our chipboard. So let's glue it exactly the way it is positioned. I will glue maybe 2 of them with you. So we're gonna leave approximately 1 inch space all around. Not all around, on those two sides. So we can actually wrap the cardstock around the chipboard. And here is the 8.5 by 1 inch. Now you can put your spatula on the bottom just to make sure that all your pieces are glued straight. And I will glue the rest of the pieces and I will be right back. Okay, I glued the pieces together and this is how it looks. So now we will score all around just to help us fold over and wrap the paper. Just like that. Let's fold this over. And now I run the spatula all around for that nice crease. Okay, and now we will miter the corners. So we are cutting the paper on the angle, just cutting out the corners and leaving a little bit of paper right here, just so it would cover the corner of the chipboard. So I'm not making such a big angles. I want to make sure that all my chipboard is nicely wrapped. So now we will glue all the sides. And I will glue all these sides off camera and I will be right back. Okay, I have all of the sides glued. And now we will work in between the chipboard. We will work that cardstock just a little bit, just to stretch that paper so it's easy for us to fold it. Just like that. And this will be our cover. Now for this one, I will also use magnets. We will use, I like really nice closures, so I will use 6 of them. I purchased my magnets from Amazon. And I think they went back in here, so 4, 2 more, 6. So we got 6 magnets. I like to use double-sided tape to position the magnets, and I like to do this at this stage because otherwise I will forget to place them. So I use double-sided tape to position them in place. So I will use 3 magnets on this side. And as you can see, I'm positioning them approximately 3/4 of an inch or maybe an inch from the edge, because when we place the paper in here, you gotta be able to make sure that all the paper is glued all around. The magnets that I'm using, they are 3/8 in diameter, or 1 centimeter by 1 millimeter. So now I position magnets right on top of these just to identify how they're gonna stick. And the part that actually stuck, I'm applying into on the top of the, so basically when they are stuck, the tape is right underneath, just like that. Okay, so here are our magnets. Now I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna match all of the edges, and when I close, I'm pushing this down and making sure that I'm closing the box straight. What I'm trying to do is actually push the tape so the tape adheres, and now we know what the position of the magnets should be. One is still left in there, so we will repeat the process. And now I'm going from the inside, and I need to squish it a little bit, and this doesn't really work too well. I can't put my fingers all the way there, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna apply a little glue. Let's close this, and now I can see where the glue is, so I am gonna apply the magnet right here on this side. So now when we close, this adheres really nicely. So now we are ready to work on the inside cover. So now we need to use cardstock, and I will use some of the leftover pieces that I have. So the height, we need 8 inches. So So I will just cut it right here. 8 inches. And I'm gonna need one more, but here is the joint, so I don't want to use that. I will use the other leftover piece, and you can see it, we will apply it just like that. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So let me cut this down to 8 inches. And we're gonna cut this 1.5 inches. Okay. Here, we need one more. And this one is too wide. So 1.5 inches. And now we got our 4 pieces. So we will glue them. And now I'm trying to position them on the middle, looking at the top and the bottom. But also I'm trying to position them somewhere on the middle of that spine strip. So let's get this stuck. And I'm gonna leave small space in between the cardstock, just so you can see a little bit peeking. And we will do the same thing on this side. Now this last piece, when you place it, make sure you do not cover those magnets, otherwise you're gonna have too thick of a layer of the paper on the top of the magnets, and the magnets won't function as well as they should. So you see, we leave a little bit space in between the magnet and the paper itself. Okay, so now we can work our scores. Let's make sure that everything adheres. Now work them, don't push it too hard, you don't want to break the paper. So here is the next one. So basically what we are doing, we are stretching the paper onto the inside of these scores. So we will do the same thing on this side. And one more. Just like that. So here it is. Now we are getting ready to decorate. So to decorate, I'm gonna pre-cut the paper for the outside first. And this is the paper I will use. So for the height, we need to cut 8 1/4. And for the width, we're gonna use, for the width, I will cut 5 3/4. So this is the front and the back. We got this piece left. So we're gonna cut down to 8 1/4. And we need 2 strips, 3/4 of an inch. And that's 1. And 2, that's 3/4. And we need 1 piece, 1 3/4. So these are the pieces for the outside. So let me choose paper for the inside, and we will cut the paper for the inside of our project. For the inside, I'm choosing to use this yellow one just because I think it's matching some of the flowers in here. So many of you commented that my choice of paper is really nice and pre-arranged. The reason for it is, I believe, is because the colors that I choose, I'm choosing the colors that will work together. You don't want anything that is gonna clash from one paper to another. So you can see that these flowers are yellow, and this is what I'm choosing for my paper to kind of match that. It does not have to be from the same collection, but I'm trying to choose something that is similar. For example, in this project, I could use any of those light orange colors. They would work also very nicely. I could use this type of green, which I think it would be very difficult to find from different collection and match up. But you could also use white on the inside because there is a lot of white in this paper. So this is how I choose the paper color for my project. So for this one also, we're gonna cut the height, which is 8 1/4. The width, it's gonna be 5 3/4. Another piece, 5 3/4. So that's 8 1/2 by 5 3/4. The leftover piece, we will trim it down to 8 1/4. And now we will need 3/4. Let me just make sure it's not exactly 3/4. So let me trim it. So now 3/4. Another one, 3/4 of an inch. And the last piece, we need 1 3/4. So now we will decorate the front first. And let me see. The front, this is going to be the front. So I want all my flowers to kind of go up. So I'm gonna use this paper to go just like that. I'm gonna use this one right here. This is our 1 inch and 3/4. And here is our spine. So we will glue it just like that. So the space between the fold over spine to your paper should be approximately 1/8 of an inch. And this would be the same for top and the bottom. I like to start with pieces on the edge first, because then it's giving me a little bit better idea how to position the spine. So I usually do this one first, this one next, then I would position the back and then put the spine pieces on the middle by paying attention to your spacing in between the spine paper and the front or the back. So let me glue all of this and I will be right back. Now I'm gluing this first piece, and I thought maybe I should glue this on camera because right here underneath we have magnets. So I removed the tape, and now when I'm working and gluing the paper, I'm trying to go all around those magnets, and I am trying to be careful because I don't want to rip the paper. So you can almost feel it where you are coming close to the magnet, and you just go around it just like that. So here is our next one. You do want to make sure that everything, the paper is glued all around those magnets. Okay, so I will continue and I will be right back. Okay, so I do have the cover glued, and you can see it's closing nicely. And I really like the border. I really like this black trim around it. I think it pulls everything together, and it's kind of separating this flap a little bit. So now we can decorate the inside of this piece. And this is how we will position all of our paper. Just like that. It is quite bright, but that's okay. We will tone it down after we put items on the inside. So I will start with this side. So let me remove the backing from the double-sided tape. There you go. And now we apply the glue. And we position 1/8, approximately 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And again, because they are magnets in here, we will squish it all around, but be careful, don't break that paper. Just go around it. Because the paper tends to pick up where the magnets are. So just take your time, be patient, and make sure that this adheres really, really nicely. And now I will do the same thing with the other pieces. I will glue them off camera and I will be right back. Okay, so now I think we're gonna work on our notepad, just like that. Now the notepad, and I'm not sure if we're gonna work on a notepad. I thought of using this calculator, but I did change my mind. I did have another one. I do have another one, black one, and I think this one is just gonna look much, much better. There is nothing of pink around this project at all. So I don't think I'm gonna use this one. So we will use the black one. This one is also from Dollar Tree. So what I'm thinking is placing this calculator somewhere in here. We will have a space for our notepad, and we will have space for a pen or a pencil right here, and that will be our project. So let's maybe work on a calculator first, because I don't know if I want to cover the front of this notepad or I just want to leave it the way it is. Sometimes simple, it's perfect. It actually makes sense. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one yet. So for our calculator, we need to measure what the dimensions are. So this one, it's about 2 3/4. I do want to make it just a tiny bit bigger cover. And I think I will write down the dimensions somewhere on a scrap of the paper. So dimensions 2 3/4. And the height is 4.5. Now the depth, it's about 3/8 of an inch. So 3/8 is the depth. So we will cut some paper. So I told you that we will tone down this color a little bit. So I will use this paper to make cover for this calculator. We will cut the paper that we want to use for that. And I made it already a little form for myself. So the paper will be cut to 7 inches by 5 3/4. So 7 inches by 5 3/4. So now we will need to score this. So I gotta look at my cheat sheet. So we're gonna score this at 2 7/8, 3 1/4, 6 1/8, and 6 1/2. So we were scoring the 7-inch length, and we scored at 2 7/8, 3 1/4, 6 1/8, 6 1/2. Now we're going to turn it to the side and we're going to score at, let me check what I did here, 4 1/2 and 4 7/8. So now we will fold and burnish all of the scores. I'm gonna fold them first. And now let's burnish them. And one more side, just like that. So now we need to determine which side will be our front. So when you open it, you got 1 score, 2 scores. This panel will be our front. So we won't see this side. So I'm just going to mark this in here. This is the front. So what we're going to do, this first square, and for the video purposes, I will mark this. The first square, which goes through that first score, we're going to cut this out. We're going to cut this out just like that. So I'm going over here to the first score and I'm cutting straight all the way to the second score, and we will cut this out. Now on this side, we're gonna make a little V. We're gonna trim the corner. And on this side, from the edge only to the first score, right here, we're gonna cut a little wedge. Now we're gonna go to the next score. So this will be our front. So in here, we will make the cut through the first score all the way to the second. And now this piece we will totally cut out. So it might be easier to see it on this side. I am gonna just trim this whole thing off. And we made that little angle in here. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. Little angle, just like that. On the top, the side that you have 1, 2 scores, we will cut little angle only to the first score. And this will be our cover for our calculator. Now, what we need to do is cut out a window so we can actually see the buttons. So what we're gonna do, we will measure from the button to the end of the calculator. We have approximately 3/8 of an inch. So we're gonna cut out only 1/4 inch. We're gonna leave 1/4 inch on this side and 1/4 inch on that side. So let's pay attention to the front. So this is the front. this is where we will be cutting out the window. So we said that from the score, we need to mark 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna make 2 little marks. And I will draw the line. Now I'm doing this with the pen. You can do it with the pencil, so you can actually erase this. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Only 1/4 of an inch. Just like that. And we will draw the line. I'm drawing the line just so you can see. And because I want it to be visible, so I'm doing this with the pen. You can do it with pencil and then erase it. So now this calculator will go all the way to the bottom. And at the bottom, we need also 1/4 of an inch. So we will measure from the score, 1/4 of an inch. And we will create another line. Right here. So now what we have left is the top. So the top, we're gonna measure only to that window. And that is a little bit more than 1/2 an inch, but I will mark only 1/2 an inch because we want to make sure that this calculator is really trapped in our paper cover. So this is the window that we need to cut out. So I will cut this out with my knife. And you can use knife, X-Acto knife. It cut pretty good. I have knife from my circuit or Cricut machine, so I could use that. Right here. And we are just cutting out that window against the lines that we marked. Just like that. And this is where we will have our calculator trapped, just like this. Now you could, at this point, you could decorate this back panel, which I think I just might do. I have some paper left, so we will cut piece 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. Okay, before we glue this, let's see. And I think this is just perfect. So we can apply the glue and glue the seam. Now you could leave it blank, just the way it is, because after you put your calculator in there, you won't be able to see this anyway. So now we have our window. Now I will use double-sided tape to glue this because I want to glue this pretty much right away, and it might be uncomfortable to kind of squish this. So I'm gonna apply double-sided tape right here to this bottom flap, only to the score. Just like that. And I will use double-sided tape also in here on this side. So let's make sure that the tape adheres. And now we're gonna work on this side first. So let's remove this tape. We will close it. And you see, you can close it totally flat. Here is the small score right here. So I close this, and I'm gonna turn this over and let's squish it to make sure it adheres. And here is our box. So now this portion will be the bottom. That's how it's gonna look like. So let's remove the backing tape from here. Now when you open this up, and before you actually glue it, line the score to the box to make sure it's nice and straight, and then we can squish it from inside, just like that. So here is our box. So now I can take the calculator, put it right in here, and you can see we can still see the window. And if you want to trim it a little bit more, you can do this. I don't think I need to do that. And here we will apply the calculator. I want to position the sticky pad right underneath. So I think I'm going to do this just like that. So let me glue the sticky pad. And you could also make the sticky pad removable, although it would be difficult for you to remove it with this. When you finish your sticky pad and you want to put new one in, that's really no big deal because the backing of the sticky pad is really, really thin. So you can just glue another one on the top of this one. So now, for the calculator, we will apply the glue on the back, and let me just remove this. We will apply the glue on the back. And I'm gonna position just like that. I will take my bone folder and kind of squish it all around to make sure that everything adheres. Put it underneath. We want to spread the glue and make sure that everything adheres. Now we can put our calculator And let's see how this pad looks. And honestly, I do like it, the way it looks. I'm not gonna do anything with this pad. I think this portion looks very nice, sharp and clean. I'm gonna keep it that way. But it seems like some of you really like to see the option so you can actually remove your notepad. So we will make a little band and we will make that removable. So to make this removable, I'm going to use the same paper stock that I had on the inside. And I like to make the bands a little bit wider just to make sure that I have enough body to keep the notepad straight. Because if you make it too thin, the band might also kind of slip a little bit either side. So I am going to make this 2.5 inches wide. And I really don't worry about the length. So I am going to keep this whole entire strip as it is, because the way we position the band, we have the wrong side facing up us, just the way it's here. So the right side is right here. We turn it around and we fold one side. And let's try to make this somewhat straight. Okay. So let me just fold this over. Now when the fold is done, I like to pull the band just a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And the reason why I do that is because I want to make sure that when we are replacing the band, it's really easy to do so. So in here, just to hold this together, you can put double-sided tape. I am just gonna apply a little bit of glue. Do not apply the glue too close to the edge, because you don't want to glue this band into your notebook. So here is the band. As you can see, we can slide that easily. And I like to glue it just the way it is right now with the notebook, because I want to look at the angle to make sure that when I position the notebook, everything is nice and straight. So I just apply the glue around it, just like that. And again, I'm not going too close to the edges, because I want to make sure that the notebook is not glued. So now this is the position I like. Now I can slowly slide this out and we can squish it just like this to make sure everything adheres. And now you can see that it's really easy to put this notebook in and slide it. And here it is, non-removable notebook. Now we could cover this, but I don't think you have to. But you could if you want to. So our notebook is done, our calculator is done, and it's not such a snug fit, but it will not fall out, because it will get stuck with these buttons. So that's why I didn't cover anything on the top. So the only other thing we are missing, it's actually a pen. Maybe we can use black pen right here. So for pen, I am gonna use, this is little piece that I have left over from that window. We can use that piece to create little band to hold this pen. So this is 2.5 inches. I think that the perfect length for the band is about 2. So I will trim this a little bit. And now we will score it. So we score every 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, and 2.5. The last score, 2.5 inch, I will cut this off right before the score. So now when we fold this over, we can create a little square as we normally do and glue this. Let's glue this together to make that pencil holder. We will squish it just to make sure that the glue grabs it. Here is our pencil holder, which will match our cover. Now this one has a little stop in here, so either you pick this up and slide that thread up, or you just do it like that. But either way, I am gonna position just like this on the middle. So let me apply the glue. We will position it in here. Let's squish it to make sure it adheres. Just like that. Now I have a pencil in here and you can see it's perfect. Or we can put our pen. And here is our finished project. I hope you like this video. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you really had a good time watching it. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It does help my channel to grow. So this is the end result. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.